good afternoon, 1 p.m. exactly here in Nairobi, Kenya. Thank you for keeping it TV47. You're just in time for TV47 at 1 with I, Sheilar, Chelangat, and of course, it begins right now. Now, Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen has said that the protests in Nairobi and central regions are not organic, accusing unnamed organizers of using criminal gangs. The CS, alongside the Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja, have appeared before the National Assembly Committee on Administration and Internal Security to address issues relating to security matters this morning. Now, let's cross over and listen in.
South. Karibuni sana, as we say. Feel very, very welcome.
So yes. I am saying that that one, yes, in Basir ward of Wajir County. The area has been identified as a major conduit for arms, narcotics, and human trafficking, as well as a staging area for OLF. Consequently, following a several deliberations by Wajir County Security Intelligence Committee and the Northeastern Regional Security Intelligence Committee, and submission during Jukwaa la Usalama, where I was personally, it was noted that due to the challenges encountered in terms of long distance, rough terrain, armed militia, and compromised community leaders and government officials, there was need for a multi-agency facility at Basir to enhance security coverage. Indeed, during the Jukwaa la Usalama Forum of 24th September 2025 in Wajir County, it was noted that there is need to set up a multi-agency center at Basir to curb arms, narcotics, and human trafficking. Wajir County Security Intelligence Committee deliberated on setting up the multi-agency center at Basir, and various minutes have been provided there. The CSI instructed the elders Security Committee to identify a suitable site for construction of multi-agency facility. The elders committee documented the site initially identified as Malka Titu, about 4 kilometers from Wajir Marsabit boundary, drew opposition from the residents of Marsabit, who alleged that the area was within Marsabit County. A joint meeting of the elders and Marsabit County and Sololo security team in Marsabit County was held on 9th of January this year at the SEC boardroom in Basir. Various resolutions were made, and the Sololo team requested for 30 days to enable them to sensitize their community on the multi-agency facility. However, no feedback was received from the Sololo team. On the Wajir County security team, hence instructed the elders security team, sub-county security team, to identify an alternative site which is not contested. They identify another site at Malkatito, about 11 kilometers from Wajir Marsabit border. The County Security Intelligence Committee approached the elders CDF to construction of multi-agency facility, which was approved. Subsequently, the County Security team visited Basir on Saturday, 4th April, held a public barasa and launched the construction of the multi-agency facility. During the barasa, elements of resistance emerged, fueled by trafficking syndicates alleging that they are so...
Right, of course, we continue to closely follow the protests and, of course, more updates in our subsequent bulletins. Now, away from that, the government has strongly condemned rising cases of civil disruption and political violence across the country, warning that those involved will face the full force of the law. Government spokesperson Isaac Mora says while citizens have a constitutional right to peaceful protests, criminal elements have infiltrated demonstrations, leading to destruction of property and threats to public safety. He further cautions against the use of gangs and armed groups in political activities, terming it a danger to national unity and democracy.
Now, on civil disruption and political violence, once again, the government reiterates the unequivocal condemnation of civil disruption and political violence which threatens the nation's security, peace, and democratic values, reaffirming its commitment to upholding the rule of law and protecting the democratic rights of all citizens. Political violence and use of criminal gangs to intimidate or silence individuals undermine our democracy and will not be tolerated. Anyone found financing, supporting, or engaging in such acts will be held fully accountable under the law. And the Ministry of Interior is on top of this game, and also, of course, with all of their security apparatus. These actions represent a primitive and unacceptable approach to political engagement, thus endangering national cohesion and public safety. The government acknowledges the rights of citizens, especially the youth, to peacefully express their grievances through demonstration as provided for in the Constitution, but condemns the infiltration of protests by criminal elements who incite violence, destroy property, and disrupt public order. While committed to safeguarding peaceful protests, the government will ensure that those who abuse these platforms for criminal activities are brought to justice. The government also warns against the mobilization of armed groups during rallies or events, emphasizing that such illegal conduct will face stringent law enforcement to protect public safety and order. Further, the government calls upon all leaders and stakeholders to reject violence and promote peaceful democratic coexistence and engagement, reminding all Kenyans of their collective responsibility to uphold democracy, respect for the rule of law, and maintenance of peace and stability.
All right, and away from that and to matters climate, African-led Climate Solutions Conference began this morning in Nairobi. The conference will center on Africa-centered pathways for climate justice, bridging the gap between international legal principles and their implementation at regional and national levels. Delegates present include PS Foreign Affairs Korir Singwe. Let's cross over and listen in to what is happening at this moment.
The World Agroforestry Institution and partners, including the Kenya Foreign Service Academy, the Queen's Mary University of London, the University of Nairobi, and Kabarak University for working closely with our State Department in putting this meeting together. In that respect, I want to really thank Tobias Ogweno, who is our lead on climate, for providing the kind of leadership that we truly appreciate. Now, I think a lot will be canvassed over the next couple of days by the experts around the room, and I see many, many experts. And therefore, I will not really belabor the point, but allow me to make a few observations. First observation is that when lawyers and policymakers decide to take a matter to court and to seek adjudication, when the matter is of such scope and such nature as the matter that, whose judgment we are discussing, then of course they do seek a pronunciation with respect to, or a determination with respect to, what is really the law on that subject. But besides the elaboration of the law and the standards that pertain to the matter, they have an interest in broader structural issues. And in particular, they're trying to use the adjudication of a matter or the elaboration of these standards to be able to engender policy change or structural change or programmatic intervention or budgetary support or financing, amongst other objectives.
And back to the protests in Nairobi. Police officers were in different parts of the Nairobi Central Business District to contain planned protests. 5 people have been arrested so far in Nairobi's CBD, and the youth had threatened to protest the fuel prices in Nairobi and other parts of the country. Now, to paint a picture of the CBD, we cross over to Samira Mohammed in Nairobi. Good afternoon, Samira. How is the mood like in the CBD?
Chelangat, thank you. Indeed, businesses in the CBD are going As per usual, I've heard you saying that 5 have so far been arrested, but the number has just increased to 11 people. 11 people have so far been arrested here in Nairobi CBD at the archives, where people had gathered here to start their protest and the procession as Kenyans continue to decry the high cost of fuel in the country. Maybe if my camera person can just pan the camera and show you the current situation here at the Nairobi archives, we can see that businesses are running as usual here in the CBD as Kenyans had planned to take to the streets to protest over the hike in fuel prices. A handful of protesters were rounded up by anti-riot police here outside archives, even as Nairobi police boss Issa Mohammed, who was here a few minutes ago, dismissed the protest, citing that the National Police Service had not been notified of any planned procession. Remember, there was an online uproar after the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority hiked the price of fuel, kerosene, and petrol, that is Sheilar, Chelangat. So far, 11 people have been arrested and are currently being detained at the Nairobi Central Police Station. We've seen that these protests were hyped a lot in the social media, but it's not as the other protests. Business is going on as usual here in Nairobi CBD. We've seen a number of police officers, particularly from the anti-riot police unit and the Directorate of Criminal Investigation, that is DCI officers. We've seen the regional police boss here, Issa Mohammed, who has dismissed the protest, saying that they had not been notified of these protests and procession. Issa has said the National Police Service does not dismiss protests, but protesters have to issue a notice 14 days prior to the protest. Here in Nairobi CBD, businesses are going on as usual. Police have said that they'll ensure businesses run and calm is restored here in Nairobi CBD. Back to you, Sheilar, in studio.
All right, thank you very much, our very own Samira Mohammed. Do keep safe and, of course, more updates as we progress on. Now, away from that, leaders from Western Kenya have this morning held consultations on community mobilization and their potential role in the 2027 general election. Addressing the media, Lugari MP Nabii Nabwera and Teso South MP Mary Emase said the discussions focused on expanding grassroots outreach and exploring additional engagement strategies. They noted that while talks on the 2027 political direction are ongoing, specific details will be unveiled later as their immediate focus remains on delivering their current mandates, even as consultations continue.
The caucus was, as part of its mandate, meeting to discuss about the future, the political future of the community. They are also meeting to discuss about mobilizing the community for registration of voters. They were also meeting to discuss on how they are going to play a major role in the 2027 political matrix. We have had a very open and candid discussion. We are not going to go to the specifics as of now because we have assignments to do.
Kutana kama Western Kenya leaders kuzungumza kuhusu region yetu, mambo ya siasa, mwelekeo kisiasa na muungano na maendeleo na amani. Na pia tutarudi tuongeleshe watu wetu wachukue kura, wachukue vitambulisho, wale bado hawajasajili wasajili. Kwa hivyo mazungumzo yetu yamekuwa kiegemea kuhusu mambo haya ambayo tumesema. Na bado tunaendelea, tutakuwa na mikutano, hata wiki ijayo tutakuwa na ingine. Bado tunaendelea na mazungumzo pia pamoja na viongozi wetu, Ambeso Paranya, Wetangula na pamoja na Mudavadi. Tutakuwa tunaendelea na mazungumzo.
And a section of Nairobi County MCAs led by Nairobi South MCA Waithera Chege has urged President William Ruto to address what they termed as failures by Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja in managing the county through the 80 billion shillings cooperation deal signed in February this year. Speaking during the launch of a children's heart disease program in Nairobi South B ward, the MCA called on the president to ensure that the agreement's development plan for Nairobi is implemented fairly. She accused the governor of discriminating against some wards in the allocation of development programs in the past.
Kama sasa hapa Nairobi, sisi governor mwenye tuko naye alishindwa kazi. Ule mtu amekuja kutusaidia hapa ni Rais William Ruto. Kwa sababu governor alishindwa nini? Ama nyinyi hamkuona alishindwa? Alishindwa ama hajashindwa? Si mmeniambia hospitali ilikuwa inaanguka. Hiyo kazi ni ya nani? Lakini pesa inapotelea kwa corruption. Tunaelewana? So sisi tunataka kusema from next month we are going to see a transformed Nairobi. Kwa sababu tumeambia rais, wewe umetuambia tusipeleke huyu mtu nyumbani. Sasa ukuje utufanyishe kazi yenye tulikuwa tunamwambia afanye nini? Tunaelewana? Hatutaki kuona garbage Nairobi. Hatutaki kusikia watu ambao hawana maji Nairobi. Hatutaki kusikia watu hawana mataa kwa barabara Nairobi. Hatutaki kusikia hospitali mbaya. Hatutaki kusikia ECD ambayo watoto hawapewi chakula wakienda shule. Na tunauliza rais, hiyo mambo yote sisi tuliuliza. Wakati tulienda State House tukaambiwa drop the impeachment motion. This work must be completed before 2027.
All right, 15 minutes past 1 p.m. We go on a short commercial break, but more updates on the other side of the break. Stay with us.
Skia, ni juicy. Flavor zote tamu tena fruity. Yummy na flow kama maji, juu ni tamu kama sali. Ni juicy. Are you bored? Kuna vitu zinakuudhi, usijali my bro, hebu kama taka juicy juni.
Kama invite yangu haikufika on time, but I'm glad to be here anyway.
She was my rival, my competitor. We need to shut this business down.
Hii biashara ndo kila kitu kwenye hii familia. Nikufe ama nisikufe.
Kama mbaya.
We ni mnoma sana.
One truth can break everything.
Sit tight.
Revisha ushinde. Open and save in your KCB Gold Savings account and win. Revisha ushinde. KCB, for people, for better.
Thank you for staying with us, and of course we continue to update you. Now, the African Talent University has officially received approval from the Ministry of Education to become Kenya's 85th university in Kenya. Kenya's newly approved African Talent University, located in Kisumu County, is set to begin admitting students after 20 years of development and anticipation. Education Cabinet Secretary Migos Ogamba said the institution will have a major impact under competency-based education reforms and government skills development agenda. Professor Humphrey Obora emphasized an inclusive admissions policy, welcoming all learners regardless of academic grades performance.
I start by stating that this occasion marks a very clear step towards building a university education system that works for every young Kenyan. The grant of the letter of interim authority to African Talent University reflects our commitment to expanding opportunities, nurturing talent in all its forms, and keeping university education aligned with the realities of our time, including what Professor indicated as the competency-based education system which we are rolling out currently.
All right, let's get sporty. And Cape Media has officially unveiled a new sponsorship deal in partnership with the Football Kenya Federation, bringing a significant financial boost to local football. A total of 1.8 million shillings has been allocated to 6 selected National Super League clubs. Each team will receive 300,000 shillings, and the benefiting clubs include Luanda Villa, Vihiga United, Gucha Stars, Darajani Gogo, Kabati Youth and Mwatate United. In addition, the Women Premier League will receive a total of 2.95 million shillings under the same sponsorship package. Each of the 12 WPL clubs will receive 100,000 shillings as part of the funding. Performance-based rewards have also been outlined. Now, the league champions will take home 1 million shillings. Second place will receive 500,000 shillings, while third place will be awarded with 250,000 shillings. Of course, we will be giving you that story as we progress on. And to the EPL results, the fight for relegation once again endured a dramatic twist as West Ham were forced to settle for a